yeah. Make a move. Okay. Woo!
Stretch your team, Zay. Let's go, compete on 3. 1, 2, 3, compete.
And the 2017 season is underway. It'll be Craig.
So coming off of last season, what was kind of your team mindset coming off of the 2016 campaign?
Well, I think our mindset's always, we try to keep the same focus every year. Fresh slate, new start, new team. We graduated a bunch of really good kids from that year. Obviously, we had to replace those guys on the team, and we brought a whole new class of freshmen in to be a part of it. So, I mean, our mindset's, we'll want to win the first game. We'd like to win all our home games and definitely win a championship. That's what we want to do. We got our opportunity to play in the championship last year, and our expectations and goals were to get back to that game and try to win it this year. We just we fell up short.
Assumption was a good team. I remember sitting up in the press box and being like, you know what, they got some athletes down there. This is going to be, a really big test to see where Kutztown's actually at. Coming back and watching that game, you never really know sometimes going into a season where a team is. And that game to me said like they're ready for this year, because in my eyes, Assumption didn't win that game. Kutztown lost it, which sounds like a negative, but I think they had the game won with some minor penalties. They accidentally gave it away.
You take what you learned the year before, and you just got to flush the losses and reschedule, reboot. It was an unfortunate loss.
Being able to just lose to an Assumption team who is going deep into the NCAA playoffs this year, has done it year in and year out in the past, to be able to have that team on your schedule, face them right out of the gate, that's really tasking your team with a lot. And as you said, they rose to the occasion, and you kind of forget about that 10, 11 weeks later, but they were very close to beating the Greyhounds that day, and maybe if we had the KU team you had in week 6 or week 7 face Assumption, that score could have been different. But I think if you don't have Assumption on your schedule and you might face a Division III, a cupcake, I think that really hurts your NCAA chances. So that really helps Kutztown not only prepare for a gauntlet of a PSA East schedule, but also helps put them on the map in terms of the Super Region 1.
I think we played them more towards the end of the season. I think we could have got them under our belt, but it's just what happens. You learn from it. You lose, you learn, you just let it go, and you did what you had to do, and we showed them what Kutztown's about.
It was just one of those things where whoever had the ball last was probably going to win the game, and Assumption came away with it. But our guys played hard, we fought, and I'm proud of them. And we ended up going and winning 3 straight after that. It was a good beginning, first quarter of the season.
You guys started off this season 3-1 as opposed to 0-3 last year.
I think we all were just sticking together. We all knew that if we wanted to be a good team in the East, we had to start off right, start off hot to get it going. We had to start clicking, and we had to get it done. And I think that the seniors really stepped up, and they really were a big part of why we started off 2-1 the first 3 games of the season.
The one play specifically at Millersville, you had the punt return.
Yeah.
What did that feel like?
Got to give credit to my blockers, of course. I was practically untouched going all the way into the end zone. And it was just great. We all celebrated in the end zone. We got a 15-yard penalty, but still, I think it was worth it. It was fun.
Craig, I believe at the end of the game, he was leading the country in all-purpose yards.
Threw a backwards pass, and then probably the best pass so far of the season, right on the money, back to Reynolds.
With safeties and running backs, when he has the ball in his hands, he's really good, and he's gotten better with the ball when it's not in his hands, just blocking and being a leader out there. But yeah, he's a special kid. And in the return game, like you said, I mean, the punt return was awesome.
Going into that game, going away at Westchester, what was the team really thinking going into it?
Oh, we were excited. We're fired up. We go on the road and go beat their butt. That was the plan. And I thought we came out well. I thought we played well to start. We moved the ball well down the field. And we had 2 opportunities in the red zone. We came away with field goals instead of touchdowns. And, looking back on it, obviously, woulda, coulda, shoulda. but I thought we played good enough to win that game. I don't think it was our best performance of the year, but I definitely feel that that was a game that we should have won. And all the kids will tell you the same thing. Leaving the game, it was really disappointing.
I feel like on the defensive side, I'm gonna speak on the defense. I feel like that it was a few plays that we played good as a whole team. We got turnovers. We were stopping them, getting 3 and outs. Running back stopping them, negative yards. I feel like it was just those little pieces like I was talking about before. Like it's just those few plays that we need to make sure we're getting to next year. Like, oh, we got to stop them on 3rd down, or we have to get off the field on 3rd down, or they can't convert. That's the type of things I feel like that was kind of stopping us from winning. So,
Seton Hill, Millersville, Craig Reynolds doing his thing, gets banged up though at Millersville, and we saw that at Westchester, as in we didn't see Craig Reynolds at all that much at Westchester. How much did that really hurt this team moving forward without a powerhouse like Reynolds?
It's the difference maker. I think Kutztown's in the NCAA playoffs. I think they're still playing right now if Craig Reynolds is 100% healthy. I really do. I think that team was building. It was clicking. We saw the wide receivers progress. We saw the defense progress as the weeks went along, the way you'd like to for a team to peak at the right time.
Yeah, you get a little bit of a deep breath when you look across and you're like, that guy's not playing. All right, cool. But you know what? Not even to focus on a negative, side to that. I think a huge positive you can take from that is how well the other running backs stepped up. They had that next up mentality, and I even caught myself a couple times in the booth being like, they don't have Reynolds, they're out. And then, the 2 young guys would come and break off huge runs, and I'd be like, that's incredible. The confidence they come in.
I think it's extremely important because, without depth, without guys to, kind of give one or the other a break, after, a long series, it's a huge help to have somebody to be able to come in and, just be able to kind of take the load off, get a break.
So we've been fortunate to have some good backs, and I think the key is, they compete well, they work well with each other, they're not selfish, and Culver was a redshirt freshman who took advantage of his opportunities. I think that we got hurt between Craig and Ab. We were a little banged up at the running back position this year with injuries, but they're tough kids. They fought through it.
Westchester was, wish we came up with a W, but we didn't, so we just forgot about it, went 1-0 next week against Bloomsburg. We gave it our all next week and came up on top.
Yeah, anytime you have to go up to Bloom, last time we were up there, we lost in double overtime, and we hadn't beaten them in, I don't know, since like 80, something like that, 83 or 86. Going into the game, we knew we were a better team. We felt that we knew we were going to have a great chance to play. Defensively, we played really well.
A little bit, but I know I got a lot of texts that day about Kutztown beating Bloom at Bloom, because that's something really not a lot of players here can say they've done. I mean, we got smacked when we went down there, and I was still here playing. So, that's one thing that I just sit back on, and I was like, man, that's awesome that they did that.
It was just another game on the schedule. We knew that we can go up there and do what we got to do, and we would come out on top. We knew that the history wasn't for us, but we knew that if we gave it our all and just played the way we do, because we knew in our offense we could do what we got to do. But going up against some teams, they were the strongest on defense, so it really did give us a little bit of confidence going in, but we knew Ship was a lot more tougher on defense than those 2 teams were.
They did exactly what you had to do. They just controlled the ball with Chipielli, the transfer from Penn State, the big back, Zapaticki, the quarterback. They just controlled the game. We had some unfortunate interceptions down in the red zone on back-to-back. I think it was back-to-back possessions, and it was just, as Coach Clemens said, they were just a more physical team on that afternoon.
Maybe they wanted to win better, more than us, so that's just that. But it's not gonna happen next year. That game's circled on my schedule. Shippensburg is circled next year.
Yeah, it is Cheney, but I think with them, you kind of just want to score early, just so it's never close, so you never have anything to think about. Like, oh man, we're going to have a tough game against Cheney. So it was good to go out there. We probably scored on our first 4 or 5 drives. And I mean, everybody played well that game. I think every receiver, every touchdown was to a different receiver, and the offense line, I didn't get touched pretty much the whole game. So that was just, everyone played well in that game, offense and defense.
I think that's really one of the great stories of this season is the emergence of Chris Kane and how well he played when he was called upon, and going to Cheney and just handling things. Cheney, of course, struggling year in and year out, but still, there's guys on the other side of the ball that are still there to do things. So you still have to execute. And I think in that game, and then following up against Slippery Rock, Chris Kane really stepped up. I was happy for him because, Josh, you know Chris, and he's been around a while and battled some injuries.
He was one of those guys that, a couple years ago when he was getting recruited, I was like, there's no shot he's going to come here. He's a LaSalle guy. He put up some huge numbers in high school. And when I heard that he signed, it was incredible. I was like, that's awesome. That's somebody I'm looking forward to watching playing over the next couple years.
Senior day, playing Slippery Rock, was his last game of his career, and got to start senior day, and just played really well. So, yeah, he probably played the best, best I've ever seen him play against Slippery Rock. And he wasn't playing they're a good team. One of the best pass rushers in the country. Our offensive line did a really good job, giving him some time, and he did really well. He played really well. It's a big part of our win.
Just talk about that depth, like going into the later part of the season when maybe you're going to the playoffs, maybe not, but you still have the mindset of you got to come out and win.
Oh, it's great having those guys back us up. Chris did a great job against Cheney, a great job against Slippery Rock. He really did what he had to do. Not even turning back. He had a historical day both on Cheney and Slippery Rock, and without him we couldn't have the season we had. And with the depth we had, everyone who came in, the receivers, Mason McElroy did good. He's going to be a good part of us for next year. Ab and Evan, what they did, obviously good. Little Reef, he did really good. He's always good. He's a nice little player, and it's going to be a good test us for next year, but they did pretty good this year.
That was really a statement game. Last game of the year, the Slippery Rock came in real cocky and confident, talking smack before the game, and it was our senior day. So, I mean, we just came in with the mindset to knock them out of the playoffs, and that's what we did. So, that was a big win.
Yeah, I feel like we needed to win that. It was, like you said, it was a statement game. We wanted to win that. We didn't care. We cared about the playoffs, but we wanted to win that to show that, one, Slippery Rock isn't as good as they are. Two, we are as good as we should be. And three, we deserve to be in the playoffs. So I feel like the whole game, everything we got, if it was everything that was a positive, it was just we were just excited because we know this is the potential our defense can play.
Getting to play against Slippery Rock, who's ranked in the region or whatever, and supposedly a real good defense. So it was great to go out there and play against, I don't want to say a real team, but like a tough team. And we, the offense really took it to them. I mean, I think we had 600 and some yards of offense. It was a pretty crazy day.
It was a great game. It was great. It was fun to watch. It was fun to be a part of. Not being able to play in it, but just trying to give my input and what I see on the sidelines to the running backs, and helping out as much as possible and bringing energy off the sideline and helping and doing everything I could without putting the pads on. But it was a great game. We were able to come out on top. The defense did a phenomenal job at the end, and we ended our season and gave the seniors their last game with a win.
How good was that performance from the defensive side, watching them from the sidelines?
I really love their defense this year. If we come into that next season, we're going to be a great team. I guarantee we're going to be a great team. They did a lot of things, great things this year, especially that in the goal line stop. I kind of looked away because I didn't want to. I was just so scared to go into overtime because they had the momentum, but it was a great stop, and I loved every part of it.
Yeah, I mean, they were really good. I don't think the score helps them in that game because of the pick six and the other one that almost went for a touchdown. I mean, they were unbelievable. They stopped them on fourth down a bunch of times. They punted a bunch of times, and they're supposed to be a really good offense too. I mean, they played amazing. And to stop them 4 straight times on the 3-yard line, that's crazy.
All the teams that you guys lost to this year, all went to the playoffs.
Yeah.
And you barely lost to them.
Yeah.
What does that kind of mean for you guys?
It was a little rough to see that. You know, we were really close in some of these games, and those guys are in the playoffs and played more, games. But you can control what you can control. You can't get too mad about it, and just focus on the 2018 season now.
I mean, I think as you can see in some of those games, we were this close to maybe winning those games, a play or two away. I think that's how far we are away as a team too. I mean, I think we're this close to, being at that next level and being able to beat teams like that and come away with the tight games. So I think the future's definitely bright.
Well, we actually had a meeting and TJ said we're good. We're always good. Like, we will win 8 games, go to the playoffs and lose, but he wants us to be great, to like go forward, beating those teams that make it to the playoffs, that we make it farther in the playoffs. Not just be good, strive for greatness.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we knew we could play with any of the teams that were probably picked to make the playoffs. It would, we should have won probably 2 out of those 3 games, and if we won one of them, we might even still be playing right now.
I think with all the inexperience, all the newness, all the uncertainty surrounding this team, I think that was a darn good season that Kutztown put out there each and every week, and to look back at it, you can't be upset.
Yeah, you know what? It's crazy when your football team wins 8 games and they still slightly look at it as a disappointment. You know your school's in a good spot when that's the conversation, but you don't want to take away anything from what they did this season, because it was an awesome season. And again, I keep coming from the alumni perspective, but I love seeing the success that Kutztown has, and it's awesome to welcome those 7 seniors in, to the Golden Bear family forever.
We've got a lot of young returning starters and good players coming back, and I think if they have a great off season, work their tail off, and do what they're supposed to do in the classroom, and push each other and our good teammates over this winter break and spring semester and summer, we've got a really good core group to make a run at it.
I would be worried if I was the rest of the PSAC for next year.
Can I say cut if I don't like it? Am I doing it? Yeah. Oh, count on take 1. My hand was on my face.
First down. What's your favorite Mangas memory?
This season, he did call me a prima donna in camp, and I'll never forget that. It was early in the season. He was coaching me for like a week now, and he just went off and called me a prima donna. I'll never forget that day. I'll never forget it.
Favorite Mangas quote?
I don't know. I mean, he calls me a mole around a lot, but I mean, just let it happen. He just goes with the flow. And the Rusty now, he goes, I don't know. I like what he does. His quotes are all right, but I like what he does. He's a character. He always shows more emotion than he says. He gives it, and he yells a lot, but I mean, he means it out of love. But I mean, the best was probably when he, before practice, getting his tan on, having his shirt off, doing some sit-ups on the track, showing us off that nice body looks, just killing it with that nice chest hair. He's a character. I love him. He's a good guy.
What can he throw farther, a football or a headset?
Headset, no question. Or sunglasses, either or. Depends what he's wearing.
Craig Reynolds.
Craig.
Abdul.
Yeah, I'll take the clapper.
Yeah.
Right here?
Yep.
Evan and Abdul will take one.
Before we get into it, Culver said he had to cut his hair because people kept calling him.
Yeah, he's Craig 2.0. That's what he is. That's what he looks like. You're lying, though.
This way. What? Good? Rolling everywhere?
What's up with my hands?
Yeah, sorry, mate.
What do I do with my hands?
Rolling everywhere?
What's up with my hands?
Yeah, sorry, mate.
What do I do with my hands?
Do you want to watch Coach Mangas' reaction at that Bloomsburg game?
Go for it. I mean, I probably saw it a million times, but go for it. I see it all the time. For halftime? Am I got in trouble? Did I get sacked?
Right before we took that last time out. Just throw it away. We know, we got it, we know. You know, you can. He takes a sack.
Yeah, he was saying some stuff. If I can't repeat it, he probably wouldn't like it. But he was just telling me, good job, Collins. What are you doing? Just make sure you get out there and give it your all. That's what he was saying. That's all he was saying. And I rest my case.
It was definitely a great time through that week. So I think I messed up on that job. I messed up right there.
Who's got the hardest hit on the defense?
Nobody. I'm going to say that. Nobody. I don't think anybody hits hard on the defense.
Who's got the weakest?
Tajir Jefferson.
I'll let him know later.
A few moments later.
Can you make sure this goes on this? Yeah. Okay. I want, what did Craig say? Say it again so you tell him. What did Craig?
Craig said you hit this off.
I want Craig to know the last 5 games, we had an offensive lineman and D lineman that had more touchdowns than him. An offensive lineman and D lineman that have more touchdowns than you, Craig. Please make sure that goes on there. Please, please.
I love you, Coach Mangas. Put that in there. Make sure that's in there. He sees that.